2311 Racing just did something at Chicagoland Speedway that has the whole NASCAR world talking. One team, 4 cars. All of them near the top of the board in Friday practice. But the scariest part is not the fastest lap. It is a hidden number buried in the long runs. What did 2311 Racing just do that shocks all of NASCAR? Let's find out. To understand why this practice session matters so much, you need to know one thing first. NASCAR had not raced at Chicagoland Speedway since 2019, 7 long years. The 1.5-mile track in Joliet, Illinois sat quiet while the Cup Series went other places. That means almost nobody in the garage had fresh notes on this place. The next-gen car had never turned a single race lap there. So NASCAR officials gave the teams a full 50-minute practice on Friday, instead of the short sessions they normally get. Every single lap was worth gold, and 2311 Racing cashed in on every one of them. When the session ended, one name sat on top of the board. Riley Herbst. The driver of the number 35 Toyota ripped off a lap of 178.065 miles per hour in the closing minutes of practice. His lap took just 30.32 seconds. Nobody could touch it. Now keep the name Riley Herbst in your head, because there is a twist in his story coming later in this video, and it makes this fast lap hit very different. Right behind Herbst came his teammate Bubba Wallace in the number 23 Toyota. Wallace clocked in at 177.930 miles per hour. That gave 2311 Racing a clean 1-2 punch at the top of the charts. The gap between the two teammates was tiny, just over 1/10 of a mile per hour. When two cars from the same shop sit first and second at a track nobody has raced in 7 years, that is not luck. That is a team that showed up with answers while everyone else showed up with questions. Now look at who was chasing them. Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin tied for third at exactly 177.877 miles per hour, the same speed down to the third decimal. Larson is the defending Cup Series champion, so him being fast surprises nobody. But here is the funny part about Hamlin. He drives for Joe Gibbs Racing, but he also co-owns 2311 Racing with basketball legend Michael Jordan. So the man in third place helped build the two cars that beat him. Even when Hamlin loses, he kind of wins. Ty Gibbs rounded out the top 5 at 177.754 miles per hour. And the 2311 story was not done. Corey Heim put the number 67 Toyota 6th at 177.719 miles per hour. Heim is fresh off a win at Naval Base Coronado, so he is rolling into Chicago with heat. Austin Cindric was 7th. Then came Tyler Reddick in 8th at 177.526 miles per hour. Added up, and all 4 2311 Racing Toyotas finished inside the top 8. 4 cars, 1 team, top 8. Carson Hocevar and Chris Buescher closed out the top 10, and Toyota as a brand stuffed 6 cars into that top 10. The Camrys owned Friday night in Joliet. But hold on. If you think the single lap chart is the big story here, you are missing the number that really made crew chiefs sweat, because the fastest lap only tells you who can go quick once. Races are not won once. Races are won over and over, lap after lap for hours. And that is where 2311 dropped the real bomb. Tyler Reddick may have been 8th on the single lap board, but his number 45 Toyota posted the best 10-lap average in the entire field at 176.130 miles per hour. And it was not close. Reddick's average was nearly half a second per lap faster than the next best mark, which belonged to Austin Cindric. Half a second per lap on a 1.5-mile track is a lifetime. Over a long green flag run, that kind of edge does not just pass cars. It drives away from them, and Reddick did not stop at 10 laps. He also posted the fastest 15-lap, 20-lap, and 25-lap averages in practice. He logged more laps than anyone, and the car stayed fast the whole way through. Short bursts belonged to Cindric, who led the 5-lap average. But every long chart belonged to the number 45. Think about what that means when you put it together. Herbst has the raw 1-lap speed to fight for the pole. Wallace is right there with him. Heim already knows how to close out a win this season, and Reddick has the strongest long-run car in the field. One team is holding both weapons at the same time. Speed for Saturday qualifying. Muscle for Sunday afternoon. Remember that hidden number from the start of this video? This is it. That 176.130 long-run average is the number that shocked the garage, not the lap that topped the chart. Reddick himself sounded calm but confident after climbing out. He said, "I think our Camry is really good." But he also admitted something strange was going on with the track. Teams expected the tires to wear out fast at Chicagoland, the way they do at other 1.5-mile tracks with old pavement. Instead, the fall-off was almost flat. The lap times barely dropped as the tires aged. Reddick said the surface has real age to it, but it did not act like an old track at all. That confused a lot of smart people in the garage. When tires do not wear, passing gets harder, and track position becomes king. File that away, because it could decide Sunday's race. There was one more thing bugging Reddick: the top lane. He expected drivers to run up high and clean off the upper groove during practice. It never fully happened. The high line stayed dirty almost the entire session. Reddick said he hopes Saturday's O'Reilly Series race lays down rubber and cleans up that top lane. If it works, Sunday's race could open up into multiple racing lanes by the final stage. If it does not, everyone will be fighting over the same strip of pavement. That is a coin flip nobody can call yet. Here is another detail that makes Friday even more impressive for 23XI. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney all took part in an earlier tire test at Chicagoland. Those three had extra homework. They had already felt this surface with this car before practice even started, and Herbst still beat them to the top of the chart. Wallace beat them too. The drivers with the head start got outrun by the team that simply nailed its setup. Practice was not clean for everyone, though. Several drivers kept missing the entrance to pit road. The entry at Chicagoland is narrow, and after 7 years away, drivers misjudged it again and again. In practice, that mistake costs nothing. On Sunday, under green flag stops, missing pit entry could throw away a whole afternoon. At a track where strategy usually decides everything, one blown pit entrance can bury even the fastest car in the field. Watch for that on race day, because somebody is going to get bitten by it. Now, remember when I told you to keep Riley Herbst's name in your head? Here comes the twist. Herbst just posted the fastest lap of the weekend for a team that has already decided to replace him. Back in May, before the Nashville weekend, 23XI Racing announced that Corey Heim will take over the number 35 car full-time in 2027. Herbst is racing out the rest of this season, knowing his seat is already promised to the young star who was 6th on Friday's speed chart. Denny Hamlin thanked Herbst for helping build the number 35 team. Bubba Wallace called him one of the most genuine and humble people you could ever be around. Kind words are nice. But Herbst just gave his answer on the track. The man who is losing his ride went out and beat the entire field, including his own replacement.